Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in to the show. Got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we are coming your way with the 49th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're about to get into is the UFC. Usually they have a pay-per-view on Saturday, but they got it coming up on the 31st of this Friday. Guess just for New Year's celebration and whatnot. But about to get right into UFC 207 pay-per-view, which will have Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes covering the main event. But before we get to them, we would like to talk about Cruz versus Garbrandt. Darnell, what do you think about this fight?
That's interesting. Continues the rivalry with Dominic Cruz and Team Alpha Male, which is Uriah Faber's gym. They had their long-standing rivalry, which Cruz came out on top. There's been back and forth with Garbrandt here, and also who he beat for the title, TJ Dillashaw, was a former member of Team Alpha Male camp.
Okay.
They've had their run-in since their fight too, so definitely interesting from that point. There's some bad blood already just because of that backstory, and it is Garbrandt is basically a younger, better version of Uriah Faber, I think.
Okay.
So, and he hits like a truck, and he has that never tired Team Alpha Male style. Like the other two mentioned, he seems to just be able to keep going. So, definitely interested in seeing how this works out, to see if Dominic Cruz's stick and move style can take out another guy, or can Garbrandt find that one opening to lay him out or get him down and do one of those hard chokes that all the guys from that camp are known for.
Yeah. Now, who do you think will win this, and why would you say?
I'm probably still leaning Dominic Cruz just because Garbrandt, he's still kind of, like, I don't want to call him green because he definitely deserves the shot he's getting.
Yeah.
He's 10-0, so yeah. I mean, guy's not a slouch, but just Cruz, just right now he seems to just be one of those guys that's on another level for his weight class.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything can happen. So I'll probably go right along with what Vegas is doing here. I give a slight edge to Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I do like watching Cruz in the ring, man. Just bouncing around, just sticking and moving like he does. I do see, that's pretty much going to have him doing for the game plan of the fight. But yeah, you brought up Cody, with him in his hands and whatnot. So yeah, he's going to have to use that if he doesn't want to get caught with some power by Cody. So this is going to be good, man. But, if they're going to be standing up, everybody has a puncher's chance. So he's going to have to watch out for those hands of Cody if he wants to win. So he's really going to have to stick and move against them. So. Now, who would you, is there anybody else, you were talking about he was kind of green. Is there any other guys in there that you would like to see fight Cruz if he pulls it off?
I mean, just the rematch people have been calling for him and Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Dillashaw is lower on the card, assuming he wins his fight, which I do figure will happen.
Yeah.
I would like to see him step in, but I mean, like I said, Garbrandt's not a slouch.
Yeah.
He has 9 of his 10 wins are by knockout. 7 of them are in the first round. So yeah. I mean, that's the kind of power Dominic's gonna have to avoid there. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. What can you say about Garbrandt's conditioning? You think he can last possibly 5 rounds against a guy like Cruz?
I say most likely because of the camp he's in, but he hasn't had to go that long. I mean, I think the other 2 knockouts he had came in the second and third round. So, I mean, out of 10 fights, I don't think one has gone 3. Maybe one has gone 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So that just kind of tells you. I mean, we don't know. Cruz is probably that type of guy that'll be able to take him in the deep water and see if he has championship rounds in him. Like, how will he look in round 4 and 5 if he can't get that early knockout or choke?
Yeah, for sure. All right, up next we're about to get into Nunes versus Rousey. This is going to be pretty entertaining to see, man. She was the baddest chick in the UFC, prior to her loss to Holly Holm. So she's been out for a while now, man. Just going to be interesting to see how she's going to be coming back in the ring from taking that little layoff that she had. So this is going to be an interesting fight for sure. How do you feel about this fight?
I mean, I think I'm as like I'm as confused on this one as everybody else. Just as far as what Rousey are we going to see? Are we going to see the uber confident Ronda Rousey that we saw pre Holly Holm, or are we going to see some of the doubting herself and sulking and like basically depressed that she was in the following months after and through this whole hiatus? I mean, like there's evidence to look at both sides of it. I mean, everybody saw basically she basically kind of went into hiding for a while after the fight.
Yeah.
And was limited in the couple interviews she gave. I mean, it was a different person that we're used to hearing from. But I mean, on the other side, she's an Olympic athlete. So, and you know, she didn't win a gold medal in judo, so she's taken some tough losses.
Yeah.
And I mean, we never got to really see her lose on a big stage. I mean, for what she was doing in the judo world, those are big losses. But she didn't have, you know, cameras trying to follow her around and people seeking her out for interviews. So for all we know, when she lost in that gold medal round for judo in the Olympics, maybe she went through this whole same process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's just, I hope we get the Rousey that we know.
Yeah.
But I have no clue.
Yeah. You know, I feel the exact same way. You know, it's just, if she's the Ronda Rousey after the Holly Holm situation coming into this fight, you know, I could see her getting whooped pretty badly. But before the whole Holly Holm fiasco, her getting knocked out, you know, she could be a beast. She can end the fight quick. So it's, you know, just that factor just coming into that fight, you know, that just makes me want to see it, because it's just, don't know what we're going to get come Friday, man. So,
yeah.
Exactly. So who do you have winning?
Who? I mean, that's part of what makes this so hard for me to pick. like Ronda, the Ronda we know, this is actually a pretty solid matchup for.
Yeah.
Nunes is aggressive, which that works better for her, because then she can get her hands on somebody easy and go for a judo throw and get to going after arms. So I mean, it's the opposite style of Holly Holm, who's a counter fighter, likes to stay outside in range, and keeps Ronda back, which is, you know, a lot of people how they analyze why she lost. So I mean, this matchup will be in her favor, but if she's coming in with any type of reservation and she's not herself, she's not confident, she's not on her P's and Q's, it could be lights out quick, because I mean, Amanda Nunes, she hits like a truck. So if she catches somebody on the chin clean, it's going to be a quick night. You can ask Misha Tate about that.
Exactly. So, yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from, man. Me, I do think, you know, just hearing what Rousey saying, you know, this is close to the end of her career. I don't think she may be as passionate as she used to be, and just fired up like she used to. It doesn't seem like she's, you know, just fired up like she is. You know, this is coming to the end of her career. So I'm going to go with Amanda. I think she's going to be confident. You know, she saw that Ronda Rousey is human. She got knocked out before. So I think the fear is going to be gone from fighting Ronda Rousey. When she used to come into the ring, I think people will actually be afraid of her. And I think that's gone right now. So I'm going to go with Nunez. But if this is the Rousey before Holly Holm, she could definitely turn it up and finish that fight quickly, either knocking her out or with the arm bar or whatever. So I'm going to go with Nunez. She's a champ, but I just want to see how Rousey is when she comes into the ring. One thing you might be surprised about this, man, I used to hate Rousey's guts, but because after thinking about it, man, with her just trash talking and stuff, a lot of my favorite fighters in the history of just fighting trash talking stuff too. So I got to be consistent in everything, but I'm going to go with Nunez, even though, Rousey, she can definitely pull it off if she's mentally there. So I think, physically, I think she's going to be able to pull it off and win. But, some fights are not just about what you can physically can do. Sometimes it's just about you being mentally there as well. So if she's mentally there, I think she can pull this off.
Yeah, I would definitely. Rousey's going to be fighting herself as much as she's fighting Nunez probably in this fight. First knockout like that, especially one that's that brutal and it's thrown all over television. It's in Holly Holm's highlight reel forever now. Especially if she wins her next fight and becomes a champion again, like that's going to be something cemented for her. Probably always will be anyway. But yeah, that's a demon she's going to have to exercise to win this fight. She's been in bad spots. She's shown that she has some determination to get through things, and if you know anything about her, like she didn't have like the easiest life. She had to deal with death in her family early and stuff. So she's capable. It's just does she still have her heart in it to want to overcome something like this and get past it?
Yep, exactly. Now, if she does end up losing this fight, man, was this our last fight of seeing her this Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No doubt in my mind, if she loses, she's calling it a day.
Yeah, I can agree, man. She did her thing, man. She definitely paved the way for women, but after 2 losses, especially like a knockout, I think it would be best if it's time for her to hang it up, man. Now, any other thoughts on UFC?
No.
Just wish I could see Kane and Verdun, man. But as always, Kane is being Kane, getting injured. So,
well, but he talked about it. That's basically what happened.
Well,
he did an ESPN interview and talked about his back issues, and then that kind of started the snowball effect where they took a deeper look into his meds and wouldn't license him.
Oh wow. Yeah, I thought he was just having issues with it, but just some. So if he would have kept his mouth shut, we probably would have saw him
there. Yeah.
Oh wow. So yeah, but never want to play with your back, man. That's for sure. So I would like to see him. Whenever you're fighting, you're never going to be at 100%. But yeah, your back is nothing to play with, man. Especially you're trying to wrestle and whatnot. So just have to put it on hold, I guess, man.
Yep.
All right, up next, we're about to get into NCAA football. I'd first like to talk about with you guys, we had one of the guys like Christian McCaffrey, he did not want to play in the bowl games to help, didn't want to risk injury and whatnot. How do you guys feel about athletes not playing in the bowl games?
I'm okay with it, honestly. When you have guys looking at the next step in their career being the NFL, why risk something for in essence, meaningless bowl game? I mean, I understand, people are, paying money to watch you play. I mean, it's the same thing that LeBron's getting a lot of flack for right now with the rest. Granted, a little bit of a different situation, but I think it all boils down to the same kind of deal. Some people are going to be angry and upset about it, but, if they were to get hurt and somehow end their career, then it all starts to go the opposite way. Well, why did they play? Why are these guys playing in a bowl game? So really, I have no problem with it. They're looking out for their best interest, and that's the NFL. So personally, I have no problem with it. Would I like to see them play? Him, Fournette, and potentially others. Yeah, I would love to see them play, but they're not really playing for anything at this point. Unless you're playing in the playoff, you're not playing for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm along those same lines. With most stuff, I'm usually on the player's side as far as college sports go. I mean, bowl games are definitely fun. It's a great time of year to watch these games, but more and more of these kids are they're learning that they have to be businessmen early before they even start making a paycheck. And and I mean, especially for the two main individuals that are doing this, Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette, they play the position with the shortest average lifespan in football. And especially Fournette, who LSU, he was their offense, so they ran him into the ground. Who knows how many carries that kid has left in him. He's a big boy. He's probably a first-round pick, probably a top 10 pick for somebody. So I think he was just making that business decision. Yes, it'd be nice to play in that last bowl game, but he takes that wrong hit, takes a helmet to the knee or something else. And I mean, we saw it with I can't remember the linebacker that the Jags drafted. Can't remember his name, but they said basically his injury that he got in the bowl game cost him $17 million.
Yeah.
So Miles Jack.
Miles Jack.
Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of proofs right there.
The chance you take.
Yeah. So I mean you might have some issues popping up from me maybe if it was somebody for one of the top 4 teams, so they have a championship to play for, where some hardware that's actually still the game. But yeah, if you're in one of the other bowl games, even a New Year's Six game, if these kids have played there 3-4 years and have played for their coach making multi-million dollars, and they've made their school billions, they've sold jerseys for the schools, they're making the decision to protect their earning potential. That's how I look at it. If I had a kid that was in business school or a scientist and some giant firm said, hey, I know you if you're on some team for the college and you have a competition coming up next month, but we'll offer you a 6-figure salary if you come Monday, I'm telling my child to go. I would think the same thing with the NFL. If you have a running back child that's destined for the NFL and it's going to be a high draft pick, he's taking his life in his hands. And that's a serious statement.
I think like to an extent you can almost equate it to the one and done in college basketball. They're playing the shortest amount of possible time they can to get to the NBA. I mean, here you're choosing to sit out potential for these guys. It is their potential last college game, but it's the idea that they're just trying to get to the next level. And if you're trying to make it, like you said, Darnell, you don't blame someone for trying to make it when they know they're going to make it.
Well, and I mean, I guess it comes down to, like, for any person, what do you go to college for? To get prepared for that job you want to make, whatever dollars you want to make. They went to school with the possibility of playing football. They know that they can get that deal. They can get in with a team come next season and have a high spot. Why put yourself through any more damage?
I can definitely agree with you guys too, and I believe in next man up as well. That the guy who's the backup for whoever's doing that, this could be their time to shine as well. So guys had some big entertaining bowl games so far this year. So be good for the backups or whatever to do their thing as well. But do you guys think in any way, shape, or form this could hurt the guy's stock, a draft stock, by sitting out a bowl game? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, these NFL scouts should be thanking him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what you're going to get out of these two guys, you've never heard of them or watched them play before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many 30-carry games has Fournette had, and how many games where basically McCaffrey had all of the offense?
Yeah.
They're going to give all that they have on the field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We're about to talk about next is Tide Squad. The University of Michigan are going to be playing Florida State. What are you guys' thoughts on this game, man? I know, Tyler, you're really hyped up, man. You think they're going to blow them away, so...
Hey, confidence is key. but there are a couple things that I think Michigan is going for them. And I think first of all, it starts with Don Brown, defensive coordinator, coming from Boston College. He was in the ACC, so he's seen Florida State. He knows what they like to do. He's familiar with the conference, and you got to know all those coaches talk to each other when you're in a conference, and you kind of talk about what's going on and stuff like that. So, I think Don Brown's going to draw up some great stuff on defense, some nice, blitz packages. He loves to blitz. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Francois, the quarterback for Florida State. I think they're going to try and force him to throw the ball as much as they can by stacking the box against Dalvin Cook. One thing Dalvin Cook is pretty good at is running on the outside off the tackles. So they're really going to have to try and contain Dalvin Cook on the inside. And if they can contain Dalvin Cook, things should go fairly well for Michigan. And I like that. So I think Don Brown's going to be deemed a genius after this one. So a lot of people already call him that, but I think he's going to have a really good showing for the defense here. And then also, I think just some rest for Michigan would do them well. Heartbreaking defeat to Ohio State. Wilton Spate was hurt, and it was obvious. Now he's had a month to rest up. So, the rest is good for both sides. In all reality, it's good for all the teams that play in a bowl game. I think all the coaches like the extra availability to just practice, do some run-throughs, rest up a little bit, but still keep the focus. And I told you this the other day, Trey, when I saw you, if there's one coach I would not want to give a month to prepare for my team, it would be Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban, or Urban Meyer. Those would be the three I would not want to face after a month of preparation. So I think Michigan's going to come ready. I liked what I saw in their bowl game last year against Florida. So I think they're going to pull a Florida sweep here in 2 years. And I think they're going to end the season on a high note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Michigan is probably the favorite going into this game. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of game plan Florida State comes out with this, because probably their best chance to win is trying to get Michigan spread out as much as possible. Even though they have a weapon like Cook, I don't think it'll be smart to try to go into the strength, which is that front four. So I see a lot of him being used as a receiver. A lot of outside stuff, because if there's a way to get going on Michigan, it's getting the linebackers moving laterally. They're not the best in that way outside of Peppers and his closing speed. Probably the best is to get those guys moving. Though there have been some teams that were able to run inside on Michigan. But I mean, I'm not sure if they have a good line. I'm just not sure if they have the line of that caliber.
Yeah, I'll agree there. There have been some teams that have been able to, and it's tough to judge, because Michigan will go through stretches in a game where their defensive line looks brilliant, and it looks like they're a bunch of day one freshmen too.
Mhm.
So it's going to be one of those moments where I feel like if Michigan sets the tone early, they'll be fine. But if they get pushed around early and Dalvin Cook ropes off a couple 20-yarders or something like that, it could be fairly shaky. But like you said, using Dalvin Cook in the past, that's going to be big for Florida State. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to run a lot of play action or a lot of trickery to try and move away from Jabril Peppers.
Mhm.
I think we've seen a few teams attempt to do that, some reverses, either play action, have him bite on the inside and then throw it over top in the middle. There's just many ways you can try and attack that, but it's also very tough, like I said, with Don Brown disguising coverages. He's also fairly good at that. Blitzing's his specialty, but he can disguise coverage as well, and it just seems like Jabril Peppers has a nose for the ball, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because you can almost bet they're going to try and play a keep-away game from him.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Any other thoughts on this game?
Outside of the playoff games, probably the one I'm looking forward to most.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that this game has I honestly feel like this game has the ability to be very high scoring or very low scoring. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah.
Like it could be 21-17 or it could be 45-35.
Yeah. All right, next game we're about to get into is LSU versus Louisville. I feel as if both sides have something to prove. My man Lamar Jackson, he won the Heisman, but he's been playing iffy the last couple of games that he's been in. He's had a tough loss against Kentucky, but still pulled off the Heisman as well. But Ed Orgeron for LSU, he was not their first choice to be the head coach. But they ended up getting him, so this could be a huge statement game for him as well, for either side, if they could, whoever pulls off the win. How do you guys feel about this game?
Well, I mean, from the topic we were talking about earlier, the complexion of this game changes a lot. Trying to think, who is it? Juice or Geis? How do you pronounce that last name?
Oh man,
yeah. Instead of Leonard Fournette, so I mean that's going to be something there. Seeing how he's a very good running back, but he's not a hammer like Fournette that makes people hate to tackle him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it changes the complexity a little bit, and especially if you have two very good running backs, now you're down to one. Yeah. Unless they have another Jim hiding down there that we didn't see a lot of, which is possible with an SEC team, yeah. But I'm interested to see how LSU handles not having a star like that with them, and does it give Louisville a little more confidence defensively? Do they feel like they might be able to do better against the run and get off the field more, which, at times LSU's offense has been very anemic. They started to show life later in the year, but, it's not too far off in our mind from a lot of games where they seem to not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll follow up there too, being able to prepare for an LSU team without Leonard Fournette is, it basically is a relief in many ways. Like you said, there could be somebody step up that we've never even heard of that happens in college, that happens in the NFL, that just happens in every level of football out there. So, it'll be interesting to see, is there somebody that takes a huge step for LSU and handles the run game, or do they find a passing game out of nowhere? Because not having Leonard Fournette and already knowing that the passing game is very mediocre to bad, it should help give that defense a little bit of confidence. If they get early pressure on the quarterback and force LSU to run the ball, that's going to be a long day for LSU.
Now, how do you think their passing will, their passing will do against Louisville?
I don't have high hopes for it. I mean,
I wouldn't have high hopes if they played anybody.
I mean,
in reality, though, like we've seen Louisville's defense give up the big plays. I think if you look at as of late, the Kentucky game, they gave up a few big ones. So the ability to pass on them is there. The ability to run on them is there. I just think that they're going to have to give the quarterback plenty of time to throw. They're going to have to really run high percentage plays. They're not going to be able to be throwing 20, 25-yard post patterns all day because they can't. So in my opinion, they just got to run high percentage plays. And you have to execute. Got to run good routes.
So a lot of 3-step drop and get rid of it if
yeah.
Rollouts.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna need one of those performances from LSU's defense like they had against Alabama.
That defense was stellar, man.
I don't think I think we'll all agree. Probably the matchup's going to be those linebackers against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to contain him in the run game?
Yeah.
So,
if there's a defense that can do it, they're one of the ones that should be able to. I mean, they have probably the second best front seven in the country after Alabama. So
they did a pretty good job against Bama's quarterback. He has some, he's not on Lamar Jackson's level, but he's a pretty good passer. He can make some plays with his feet too. But he did cost some plays at the end. But that was a good test for them to prepare for a guy like Lamar Jackson. So just have to see, man. Find out. Any other thoughts or anything on this game, guys?
This one could be very entertaining, especially if the LSU defense shows up, kind of like we said.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a great cap to the season for Lamar.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we're getting into the playoffs. First game that we're about to talk about is Clemson versus Ohio State University. How do you guys feel about this?
Well, this probably the matchup everybody feels is closer out of the two playoff games.
Yeah.
A little bit of mirror image, I guess, going against each other. Two very athletic offenses, solid defenses. Probably OSU has a little bit of a faster and more active defense, I would say. Clemson wins on the quarterback side, I think. It's going to be a close game, a fun game, too. Want to see what Deshaun Watson can do. Definitely want to see what JT Barrett and Weber and Samuel can accomplish when they have the offensive possession. Should be fun, but I'm leaning more towards the Buckeyes in this one.
Yeah, kind of to your point there on the defenses. If we look at just some efficiency numbers, Clemson is 9th in defensive efficiency, and Ohio State is 2nd. So I think you're pretty spot on with that analysis. Both really good defenses, both play great man-to-man coverage, both play nice zone, both can stop the run. So very, very similar style of teams, both offensively and defensively. If we look at offensive efficiency, Clemson actually has the edge. And like you said, Deshaun Watson's probably got the quarterback edge there. Offensively, Clemson's 10th, and Ohio State's 16th. So I think this game's going to come down to who makes a big special teams play. Whether it's a 60-yard kick return that puts the ball at the 35-yard line, or just something. I think it's going to have to be just a play that doesn't come from the offense or the defense. It could be a turnover, a fumble, kickoff, or something like that. I think it's going to take something like that, because I expect this one to be. I actually expect this one to be a little bit higher scoring. I expect both teams very close to and most likely in the 30s. But unlike Darnell, I actually think Clemson has a little bit of an edge here. Both teams have experience being in the playoffs, so that's not the issue. But for me, I think it's more just I think Deshaun Watson I think he rises to this stage. JT Baird's had some big games this year where he rose to the stage, and then he had some games where he was non-existent for 3 quarters. So he can't afford to do that. I'll take Clemson in this one, but I think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I do got. I'm agreeing with Darnell. I have Ohio State winning this one, but I do think it'll be a close one. Just rolling with Urban. I think he's got enough time to had enough time to prepare. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, Todd. Mm-hmm. With the coaches.
Yeah.
If you give somebody a month, Saban, Urban, Harbaugh, those are some guys you don't want to give a month to prepare for your team. So I just think coaching, I do like Dabo, he's a great coach as well, but I just think Urban, man, he's going to find a way to pull it out. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, any other thoughts to add to this game, guys?
It'll be exciting.
Yeah, definitely going to be watching that one for sure. This is
yeah. To your guys' point, real quick, Ohio State actually has a 55% chance to beat Clemson. So,
okay,
just fun little stat.
You still sticking with Clemson after seeing that, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, okay. All right, up next, we got Bama versus Washington. It's going to be interesting, man. A lot of people have Bama just whooping the daylights out of Washington, but I kind of think this is a sleeper team with their passing ability. They could get it going. Me personally, I think it goes to their O-line. If their O-line could give the quarterback enough time to pass and give him time to set his feet and everything, it could be lethal because Browning, the dude's a beast, but just have to see how their Bama secondary is going to do against the passing of Washington.
I mean, I don't want to trash Washington either. They deserve to be there. They beat teams in front of them. I know a lot of people question their schedule and everything, but they earned it. But I'm feeling like deja vu from my school last year. I think we earned our way into it, and then we ran into a team that we had no business playing. And I think it might turn out that way. Browning is a good player, very good quarterback, NFL level talent, and I think you hit it on the head. I just feel that their O-line is not going to be good enough to do anything with Bama's defense. Okay. It does help that Alabama's lost a lot in their secondary. 2 starters through the year have been hurt or are not playing in this game. So, I mean, if they were to, by chance, get Browning enough time to get off on some passes, he will be able to do some damage because it's not the level of secondary that Bama had earlier in the year. They've had to do a lot of moving around and putting pieces in other places, but that front 7 is still there. And on the other side of the ball, Alabama's O-line is like Dallas light. Yeah. So I'm not sure if they'll be able to get enough pressure to stop Alabama from scoring. Because the only way I see Washington winning is if it's a shootout. I don't think their defense has a shot at stopping Alabama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. They're solely based on the front 7. Just they wear people down. And it gets to the point where it's almost embarrassing for other teams. But, interesting stat here. Defensive efficiency for Alabama, they're first. And it's the best defense in the last 10 years for Alabama. So we're looking at how many national championships have they won in the last 10 years? 3? And this is the best defense they've had, efficiency-wise. Like, that's ridiculous. So offensively, they're not exactly there. They're 23rd. So their offense is definitely their weaker point. And I think some of that has to do with Jalen Hurts. Not saying he's a bad quarterback by any means, but, he doesn't have the best arm out there or the best feet out there, but he knows how to control the game, and they rank second in game control. So, things like time of possession,
that's
controlling the
where
ball. They
part of what limits Hurts is his coach, and Nick Saban. He will run the ball no matter what,
yes.
even if you have an offensive weapon like Hurts.
Yeah, and even on top of that, they just don't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
They protect the football. So, and to agree with your point, Washington ranks second in offensive efficiency, so they need it to be a shootout. They need this to be high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But with the front, however many Alabama wants to put on the defensive line, I just don't see it happening. I expect, by the time midway through the third quarter rolls around, I expect Washington's offensive line to be holding up a white flag of some sort. Like you said, I think this does draw some very good parallel to last year's game for Alabama in the playoff, but I expect Washington to score.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting a lot, maybe 10, maybe 14. But I expect Alabama to be in the high 20s, low 30s.
Yeah, I'm about to ask you guys, with the Lane Kiffin move, how big of a factor you think that will play in Alabama's offense?
I mean, I think they're still going to get a Lane Kiffin game plan. I think he wants to leave with a ring. So,
okay, so you think it's still going to be mentally there and everything?
Yeah, the only way that Lane Kiffin not being there will get very interesting if it's the fourth quarter and Alabama is losing, because at that point Kiffin would draw something crazy. Yeah. He'd pull some trick play of some sort. Like I said, I don't see that happening. It'll be interesting if they get in the national championship game. I think it'll be more evident there than it would be here. But I do think there could be some situational moments where Lane Kiffin does look like he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But like I said, I expect Alabama to have enough control with the run game to where they don't need anything out of the ordinary. They just need to play Alabama football.
Yeah. And as far as Kiffin goes, I think it helps that he already knows he's got the job. He's not a candidate that's hearing his name for a bunch of different schools right now.
Yeah.
He knows where he's going next year. Deal's done there, so he can actually focus on this game.
Yeah.
So I think that helps more than hurts.
Yeah, no, and you're right, because sometimes coaches get a new job and they just check out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just was wondering if you guys think that was going to be with Lane. So,
no, I see that happening, but
okay. Just also, did you guys catch Nick Saban calling Washington's secondary Seattle Seahawk like?
Yeah, I saw that. I think he was being very nice.
Yeah, I feel like if you shake Nick Saban's hand, you exchange some pleasantries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like I forget which Division II school he.
Oh yeah, we was talking about not looking them over and whatnot.
Yeah, and then they ended up beating them by 50 or something like that. He was like
the coach talk one game at a time.
Yeah, that's kind. I mean, of course, like not calling Washington a D2 team, but that's just along the lines where I see that Nick likes to He likes to pump teams up way more than he should. I guess I don't know if it's to keep his team motivated or what, but calling just because they're in Washington they're not the Seahawks. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any other thoughts on this game or any other NCAA news before we move on?
Well, I think we're pretty good.
Okay. All right, we're about to get into the NFL. We kind of had very pleased to watch Monday night's football game. Before it started, of course, but with Tyler representing the Lions hard, and Darnell representing the Cowboys hard. What did you guys think about this game once it started?
I was shocked for about 2 quarters. I mean, Detroit ran the football, something they've never done, at least this year.
Yeah.
Zach Zenner came out feisty, fiery, and scored a couple touchdowns. Stafford was kind of hurt finger Stafford. So I think we kind of knew what we were getting there based off his performance against the Giants. I mean, he looked a little better than he did against the Giants, but still didn't throw for a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, Detroit was there for 2 quarters. I believe it was tied at the half.
Yep.
And, I think Detroit got their hopes up, and then Dallas turned the Jets on. And it was over. So, just one of those games where, Lions looked like they were fighting for their life, and Dallas looked like they were the number 1 seed and were proving it. So I don't think it was really anything out of the ordinary. It was just, I think Detroit fans had it's like when you have a sugar rush and you get really hyped and then it just falls out from underneath and you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the first half was fun to watch. It was interesting. Zach Zenner all of a sudden turned into Mike Allstott and, blowing people up and unable to be tackled. So, I mean, that was crazy. A little bit unsettling for me since Dallas is actually usually pretty good at stopping a run. Seeing a third-string running back, gash him for 60-some yards in the first half was like, whoa, okay, let's get it together here. Thought Stafford looked fine for the first half. He turned into Stafford from a couple years ago in the second half, though. I mean, some you might be able to put on the finger. Some of it, though, was just bad decision.
Absolutely.
I know John Gruden for some reason likes it when he throws sidearm and stuff like that. I've always hated it. Yeah. Every now and then it works out where he, I think it was a pass over the middle to Lewis, where he had to do it because he had a linebacker right in his face. I could deal with that one, but Stafford just, I don't know, he just started trying to do too much, rolling to the left and throwing across his body. That the one that got tipped by Card and intercepted in the second half. So I mean, it was a tale of two halves for both teams. Dallas, their defense was basically getting worked for the first half, and then the Lions' offense was looking amazing, and then it kind of flipped once the second half started. The only constant was Dallas's offense, and I was surprised that they kept Zeke and Dak in through Zeke through the third, played up until the end of the fourth or end of the third, and Dak played the whole game. So that was surprising for me, especially knowing that they had it locked up. But I guess they were staying true to their word that they wanted to get the young guys and keep them rolling, keep them with their reps. But that was the constant. Prescott was probably his best game of the year, honestly. A lot of people were starting to give him that what I like to call Alex Smith, giving him that kind of captain check down type of role, saying he doesn't throw beyond 10 yards or so, but he showed some deep passes to Dez and to Terrence Williams. That first touchdown pass across the middle was, I feel like, an amazing throw. So, I mean, it was on my side, I feel really good about it, especially how they finished the game. But being from here, I'm worried for Detroit's chances now.
Yeah. About to get into that in a sec, but before we do that, Darnell, just ask, do you think they will start the rookies this final week for them, or do you think they should rest them, or what?
I figure they'll probably play, at least start them.
Okay.
They may not play the whole game, but yeah, I do think they will be starting. They'll play a few series to a quarter.
Okay.
Then you probably get Mark Sanchez coming in there.
Right.
I don't think Romo plays.
All right. I hate to see Dak break a collarbone or something, man. But
well, I'm pretty sure every Cowboy fan was terrified that first run where he went up the middle and pretty much got squashed by 3 linebackers.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody that likes Dallas held their breath. There was like, oh God. So, but they
and every Detroit fan was going, yeah, break his collarbone.
Yeah. But all right,
but yeah,
guys.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, well, go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. I was just gonna say real fast. You know, despite losing the game and in reality going invisible in the second half, I think Detroit still has a lot of positives there. I mean, they can hang around. They just need to have a smarter game plan in the second half. If they just get a little more efficient in the second half, like they're there. I mean, at one point they had the opportunity to make it a 17 or a 7-point game in the fourth, I believe. So, I mean, I think all they have to do is just stay efficient on offense, keep the chains moving. It does hurt that they don't have a run game, and it was literally nowhere to be found in the second half. And I think that's why we saw Stafford forcing the issue big time. But I just think that all they need is just a little bit of a better plan in the second half. And I think we'll see that next week. I think we'll see a better second half.
Okay.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to get into it, guys. We got a huge game this week, man, with the Lions and Packers to watch. How you guys feeling about this game? Y'all nervous? Y'all think it's a wrap? What's going to happen? How you guys feeling?
It's a little unsettling for Lions fans. Packers are playing their best football of the season. We, as Lions fans, probably have the hardest closing schedule in the NFL. You know, we had to play the Giants, who are playing great football.
Yeah.
Then we play, despite losing last week, their defense is playing really well. They'll be a tough team, tough out in playoffs. Then we were at the Meadowlands, at Dallas, and then home to possibly the hottest team in football, Green Bay. Just very, very tough way to end the season. It makes you look back and say, man, that 1-point loss to Tennessee is huge. That first loss to Chicago was huge.
Yeah.
You know, right now is the time all the Lions fans are looking back and saying this shouldn't have happened. So it's very unsettling, but it's also very exciting in the same hand because the game got moved to Sunday Night Football, so it's prime time. We just got off of a primetime game, so that is going to kind of be gone. That whole buzz around the primetime thing is going to be gone because last week was our first primetime game all year. And then, the crowd's going to be amped, hopefully be loud enough to disrupt that offense for the Packers and draw some false start penalties and hopefully pump up the Lions enough for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I do still root for the Lions when they're not playing them. I feel terrible about this game. I think both teams are trending in opposite directions right now, and that makes me very nervous. Of course, it sounds like Slay might be back. They're gonna need him. Especially with how Jordy Nelson is back to being Jordy Nelson now, and they're going to need all the help they can get, and the Lions defense, their pass rush is going to have to be on because
the pass coverage is going to have to be on as well. That pass coverage is awful.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's why I'm putting more on the pass rush.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they don't have to cover as long.
Yeah, that's fair. Of course, Aaron Rodgers left.
Yeah,
so he's struggling right now.
Yeah. So get him moving or falling down. get some hits on him. I think the Lions pass rush is going to be huge here. It's 2 teams that Well, I mean, Ty Montgomery has been a surprise for them, so they seem to have found a running game there. But they're not quite as scary running the ball. But, the way Rodgers and Jordy are playing right now, it's scary. And, Stafford hasn't had his best 2 games. He looked a lot better in the first half against Dallas, like I said, but wheels kind of came off in the second half where, he was throwing some ill-advised balls and, and there were some drops here and there. So, they're going to have to pick it up. And if they can find some sort of a running game, they have to figure out a way to keep it going. They can't just be a one-half team. They have to play 4 quarters.
Yeah. And I'll even tell you, I'm going to watch 0 pregame because all I'm going to see are highlights of that Hail Mary pass from last year. Hey, all I'm going to say is it worked for me watching 0 pregame for Michigan versus Michigan State this year. It worked. So I'm not going to watch any pregame. Anytime they talk about it, I'm going to turn the channel. It's just, it's about tonight, or it'll be about that night. It's not going to be about what happened last year. So hopefully, the Lions can keep that Hail Mary out of their minds and just take it to the end.
Yeah. All right, guys. Before we end, with our pick'ems, we were about to get ready to start the show, and Tyler brought it up, man. So we feel, we felt for the Browns too, but we got to congratulate them on that win. They pulled it off, so they weren't going to join us with the 0 for 16, but they were close, mighty close, man.
And I think it's even exciting that they won it off of a blocked field goal, like a great special teams play. It's like, hey, you earned it. It's not like
they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's how they gotta feel.
Yeah. Hey, I would have to assume. I mean, just being around here, like I know, still some people wear it as like a badge of honor around here. Like they treat it like the undefeated Dolphins. But I felt. Yeah, I felt pretty terrible after we put out a squad that went 0 for 16.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
especially since Cleveland has turned their luck around. It's good that they didn't have to throw that big blemish that you had a team that couldn't win a game after winning a NBA championship and getting to the World Series and all that.
Yeah, and the benefit for the Browns is whether you go 0-16, 1-15, or 2-14, you're still getting the number 1 pick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Where they'll blow it again.
That player is, somebody might want to think about pulling an Eli Manning.
Yeah.
I will not play for you, John Elway. Bo Jackson. Now it's time to pull your weight.
Exactly.
Hopefully somebody can play baseball too.
Yeah, for sure.
Or threaten to go to the Canadian League or Arena. It's happened before.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you ready for the pick'ems?
Let's do it.
Hey, I made a big comeback last week. So
yeah, we're all close, man. Well, we're all pretty close for, both NCAA and the NFL. But yeah, it's final week. Let's get to it. But first, Darnell and Tyler, they're both tied with 42 out of 78. And I'm 2 behind them with 40 out of 78. So all pretty close. First game we're about to get into is Lions versus Green Bay. Who do you guys have?
Gotta stick with them.
All right, Ty.
Give me the Lions.
I'm rooting for them, but I'm picking Green Bay. Sorry.
Hey, let me put it this way. I won't be surprised if Green Bay wins it all, honestly. Yeah. Just, and that's me just being an honest fan. Like, I'm not going to sit around all day and say the Lions are the best team in the NFC North, because in reality, they're not. It's just they got off to a faster start than Green Bay did, and I'll happily admit that. But hey, we're here, week 17, with a chance for it. So
if they play a good whole game, they have a shot. It's just I can't trust them to do it.
I don't blame you for not trusting them. Yeah. I do it out of pure blind faith. Never seen it before, but the faith is there.
I hear you. For me, I'm going with Green Bay as well, man. They're just looking hot right now. But Lions, hey, they beat them before. They could do it again. So just have to see. They're going to have to bring their A game because these guys are looking mighty hot.
And Green Bay won't lay off the gas either.
Exactly.
You know that.
No.
For sure.
They'll put up 50 if they can.
Yeah. Up next, we have Houston versus Tennessee. Who do you guys have? I'm going with Houston. I get mine.
Yeah, me as well. Mariota's out.
Yeah, no Mariota. I'm going.
I'll take Tom Savage.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have the Giants versus Washington.
This one's interesting. I think this is one of the more interesting picks. Washington needs it. The Giants are in. Do they rest? It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'll go with Washington. I think they'll play all their guys for 4 quarters and secure the win if they can.
Yeah, I'm going with Washington as well, just for the need factor. The Giants are locked into their spot no matter what, win or lose. So they probably will take the time. They have an older team, especially on offense, so they probably take the time to get some guys some rest. So I'm going with Washington.
All right. I'm going to go with the Giants. Just think they're going to just pull through. So just have to see. Plus, I need to catch up.
I was going to say, plus you have to pick
All right. Up next, we have NOLA versus ATL.
Yeah, the game is in Atlanta, but I believe Atlanta already has their playoff spot. So, am I correct on that? Yeah, I believe they already won that division. So I won't be surprised if a couple of players take some rest, a la Julio Jones, who is
been dealing with that toe issue.
Yeah, he was struggling with the toe. So even if they play a quarter or something, I think New Orleans is still just going to try and show some pride here at the end.
Yep, you are. Yep, they are. Just to make sure, they do have it on lock. So,
yeah, going with Nolans as well. They try to go out on their shield, and Breeze tries to throw for 400 or 500 yards or so. So,
all right,
do something great.
Yeah.
Okay, me, I'm going with ATL. So, just going with them. Up next, we got Carolina versus Tampa. I'm going with Carolina on this one.
Yeah, this one will be interesting. Tampa has to win, and I think 5 other things have to happen for them to get in. I know. Something like the Colts have to win. I think Washington has to win. No, I think Washington has to lose.
Yeah.
And some crazy 3 other things, but I think. And with Carolina out of it, I don't know who's going to play, who's not going to play, how long they'll play.
Yeah.
So I'll go Tampa here.
I'm going with Tampa just off the basis of they're a better team and they want to try to make the playoffs. Carolina, they've shown flashes of being that team that we saw last year, but overall they're just not very good.
Okay. You think they possibly might put Cam on ice this game since they really don't got nothing to play for?
It's a possibility. I mean, especially with, all the very covered hits he's taken through this season.
Yeah.
Why set him up for more damage? But but Cam's a prideful guy, so he may just want to be out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last but not least, we have Oakland versus Denver. I feel bad for Oakland, man. That car, man. That was, oh my goodness. That's tough for sure. These guys were hot. So this is, just exactly. He's hurt, man. So Well, who you guys have?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I'll
with
take.
Oh,
Go
ahead.
for it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. We might have a little bit of a situation where if Oakland kind of rah-rahs together to try to show that they can still do things, but I mean, I think if they win, they have a 2 seed. If they lose, they drop to like a 5 seed, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, they are gonna have something to play for, but I think Denver wants to just come out and fight as well. And that defense versus Matt McGloin, I think I'm going with Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like for me and Darnell on the pick'ems is coming down to that Lions game. So give me Denver as well.
Yeah. I will go with Oakland. This will be the game to put me on top above you guys. So.
That wins it for you?
Yeah, this is going to be the one that wins it for me. So I'm going with Oakland. All right, guys. Any other things you have to say for the NFL?
No.
Sad to see the regular season over.
Yeah.
I love to see my Ravens in the playoffs, man. They had some close games they could have won for sure, but have to wait next year, man. So my squad is.
Steve Smith is supposedly hanging it up again now.
Yeah,
I think
he was having some great games this year, man. He just had an absolutely amazing career. I would love to see him go out there and play again for the Ravens next year, but I would definitely understand. But that guy, he was just amazing to watch, for the Ravens and Carolina. So,
and it's a better finish this year,
exactly with the injury,
rupturing an Achilles or something. So
so. Definitely, hate to see him go, man, but I completely understand it. So, best of whatever decision he makes, best of luck to him. So, for sure. All right, now to close it up, got the new year coming up. Just was wondering, do you guys have any New Year's resolutions, sports-wise or just personally?
I mean, I'm not usually one for big resolutions for myself. Just try to do better. Yeah. That's basically what I always say for myself.
Yeah.
Whatever I do. So we just start this podcast, try to be better and more informed at that. Better all around.
All right.
Yeah, I feel you there. I'm kind of in the same boat. Not usually one for resolutions, but just seeing the world around us right now, definitely just try to be kind to everybody, be understanding to everybody, and just try and make the world a better place, one person at a time, one experience at a time, and one interaction at a time. You can't tackle everybody at once. So, that's definitely one thing. And I guess if we got to throw a sports thing in there, I'd say, Michigan football's getting a pretty good recruiting class. I'd like to see them do well in 2017.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a really good March Madness in 2017, similar to what we had last year. Great Final Four, great championship.
Yeah, we're going to start talking about that more too. So
yeah, another great college football final. Just for sports, I just want all the championship games to be exciting, memorable, something big to happen. You know how it is. When championship games are great, the sports become great again. So
so hear you there. Just for me, personally, always, I'm not really a New Year's resolution guy as well. I just believe every day. I believe in getting better every day. So, whether it's a new year or just plain, just regular day, just get better. So that's not really a big thing for me. But one thing for sports I would like to do, that I would choose, I would say just for me, I would like to, for next year, I would like to follow women's sports more. We always, we praise LeBron James a lot and everything. And, Aaron Rodgers and such, but we had some women doing great things as well. One with Ronda Rousey, what she's did for MMA for women. I've watched a lot of her fights, but I know Serena Williams with her greatness. I haven't really sat down and just watched her greatness. Even though I heard a lot of things about her. Got some great women doing a lot of great things out there. In sports and outside of sports. So I like to just sit down, check them out for some games a lot more this year. So man, we got to support our ladies. So that's my resolution, Sports Alliance.
All right, here's one I will do for both of you guys. I will do this, and I will stick to it. In 2017, I'll get into MMA. I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right, Ty.
I'll let it be your guys' wheelhouse, but I'll get in on it. I'll get in on that conversation.
I can say, man, so far, man, like last year for sure, I wasn't still not, as good on NCAA basketball as you guys, but there have been some great games so far this year, man. Just fun, especially it's fun right now, but especially when you mentioned the time when March Madness gets here, it's gonna be on steroids. So compared to just the games that they're having this year. So definitely the NCAA basketball games that I've watched so far this year, they've been pretty great. So just to see some of those small schools just in the regular season compete. And when, I know Michigan State, I forgot the name of the school, but they had a close game with a small school like the beginning of the year. Just some other ones too, man. Saw Kentucky, they lost some key games, just some fun, just talented guys out there just giving it all on the court. So definitely, it's been a pleasure to watch those guys play college basketball, man. Just been fun.
You heard it here first, Darnell. I'm going to watch more MMA. Train's going to watch more college basketball.
All right.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Some big steps for both of you.
All right, guys. Just any other final thoughts?
No. Everybody have a good New Year.
Yep. Same. Yeah, exactly. As always, appreciate you guys listening. You can check us out on Twitter. You can follow us at DKM_cast. You can also find our podcast basically everywhere. YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn. Just hit us up in the search engine. Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. You should find us. So, and also check out my cousin. If you're in the cars, he's on YouTube. You can check him out under the Black Scat Pack. So, but as always, guys, peace out. Appreciate y'all for listening. Take care.